Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the person that you know as the Grand Cat, but for today I am just going to be Simon. I want to talk to you all about something more serious today. My mum passed away just 2 days ago now, and it has affected me. I'm very upset. I'm very sad, and I just wanted to talk about some things. So far, since she passed away, I've only recorded one video, which was the Jey Uso upload after finishing Clash of Champions for WWE Supercard. And a few of you noticed that I sounded quite sad in the video, and I just wanted to talk about it. I went a lot more personal and in depth on a different video that's only for friends and family. But I want to give you guys a little bit of information on this. So, I was with her right up until the end. Held her hand the entire way, even when the doctors came in and said that she was gone. I wanted to make sure before I let go of her hand, because she was coherent and conscious before she passed, and she wanted me on one side and she wanted her husband on the other side, and I didn't leave her side. I stayed with her. So let's talk about what happened. She, when I was quite young, she was working as a nurse, and she got a slip disc which prevented her from working. Now, a slip disc is when there's a part between the bones in your spine that has slipped, and then the two bits of bone are basically scratching against each other. It means that everything becomes a lot more difficult, as you can imagine, and a lot more painful. So she was on strong medication from all the way back then, and she never wound up in a wheelchair or anything. She was always very adamant about going on her walks and keeping fit and things. Even when I was young, maybe it was before I was born, she used to run marathons and things as well. So there was, she was always like that. And then later on, she got pleurisy, which is a thing that affects your lungs and affects your breathing. Before that, she had asthma. I've got asthma as well, and it affected her breathing quite a lot. But she managed to pull through and survive through that as well. Then she had to get a pacemaker to regulate her heartbeat, and that was a scary time, a scary moment as well. But she got through that. There was another point when I can't remember exactly how it happened, but she hit her head on the corner of a window. Whether it was something that wasn't her fault, it was something that someone else had done. Whether it was dropped on her or whether it was open in such a way and she walked into it, I can't remember. But she was worried that it was quite a hefty impact, and she was worried that she would be losing her memory or losing her intelligence or things. And I kept telling her, I kept reminding her that she'd always had bad memory. She was always, putting something down somewhere and then forgetting where she put it. And my brother is the same. I've got a brother that's 10 years older than me. But yeah, and she didn't lose any of her intelligence. She always thought that was a lot smarter than what I think I am. One of the last things that I said to her, she wasn't really able to speak because, well, let's get on to that. She had breast cancer, and she, after a long period of time, was able to get past that, and she survived it, and it was a great thing. And then the cancer came back as bone cancer, and she was on various different medications for the cancer for a very long time, and she was still fine and happy and able. She said that she had a lack of energy. She had to keep going and getting blood transfusions and things as well. But anytime that I was coming down to see her, she had a lot of energy, and we would go and do things. We'd go out to the shops, and we would go and watch movies, and she loved movies. I'm not the same. I don't really like watching one-off movies. I like watching series of things and learning about the characters and the lore and stuff. She liked just a good one-off movie. Two of her favourite movies were In Bruges and Momentum. Those were she liked the ones that had sort of like progression and twist endings and things that kept your attention and things. So the final medication that she was on, she told me everything about everything. Like, if ever she had a problem, I was the one that she phoned up. I genuinely believe that I was the closest person in the world to her. And she was telling me that she's currently came off the cancer medication, and I was worried about that. But she said that what she was put on was the 10 milligram version. You could have been put on a 5 or a 7.5 milligram, and one of the things that she had looked up was that it can affect your breathing. It can make the lining of the inside of your lungs thinner, and she told the doctor, that she had that. She had pleurisy, she had asthma and things, and the doctor says, no, I'm sure you'll be fine, because they wanted to try and treat this cancer, without going into chemotherapy, and that's what happened. It did affect her breathing and things, and the inside of her lungs, and she got a thing that's called a thing that the doctors think is called PJP, which is when you have like kind of fungal thing inside of the lungs, and the doctors were saying that when she was breathing, she was only filling up the top half of her lungs, not the bottom half, and she went into a hospital on the Monday, and she didn't let me know until the Wednesday, and I was in the middle of recording an unboxing video, and I stopped the video, and I was on the phone to her, and at that point she was still happy and still able to speak and everything, and she was telling me about the ward that she was in, and how noisy other people were and things. Then she was moved into high dependency, a day or so later, and then I was still talking to her on the phone while she was in there and such. And she was, at the time, she was saying that the doctors are confident that they'll be able to treat it, and that they estimate that it'll be 22 days, was the estimation, and that she would be allowed back home before then. But the doctors, they kept doing things. They had her on an antibiotic IV drip, and then they were trying different things when they thought that it wasn't bacterial, it was viral, and things just kept getting progressively worse. So she was on a new O2 mask, and one that forces air into the lungs, to inflate her lungs properly, and it was a struggle for her, but it was what was keeping her alive. But the doctors explained it that it was, pushing the lungs in and out like that is the equivalent of running a marathon, and whereas you had the mask on, she couldn't speak, and she was writing on her notepad, and she said that it'd been like this all day and all night, and I don't think she was talking about, from the point that I saw her on the Saturday. I think she was referring to the previous day, the previous night, and it was the equivalent of running a marathon for well over 24 hours, and she wasn't really able to properly get any sleep or anything with it. So she wanted the decision for the oxygen to be turned off, and you can kind of hear them still a bit emotional, a bit upset about it. But I want to continue talking about it. I want to feel upset. I want to acknowledge it. And where was I? Yeah, she wanted the oxygen to be turned off because she didn't. It wasn't feasible for her to continue living like this. She couldn't go home with this, machine, and even at that, it wouldn't have been any kind of life for her. So, she was asking about a few different things. She asked me to tell her what heaven is like, and I told her my interpretation of heaven and what the afterlife is, and I do have a very strong belief that she's still with me. That I can. The first thing I did when I got back to my flat after everything, Baron, he was staying over at my place from the night before, and he stayed. He was in the living room, and he was, waiting for me to return. And I came back and I told him what happened, and then I went to my bedroom to take off my hat and my jacket, and I turned off the light. And when I turned off the light, I swear that there was this blue light, and I thought that I'd left the laptop on in my room, even though I'd completely turned it off and turned off the electricity before I left that morning, and it was only for a second or so, but for that second there was a blue flash of light there, and I'm sure it was her, letting me know that she's with me. And then later on, one of the things I was worried about was the night that after she passed away, was being by myself and being alone with my thoughts. And Baron, he stayed up with me until about 6:30 in the morning. Then I was the one that suggested that we go to bed, because I saw that he was tired and such. And one of my good friends, Cole, he was on night shift, so I gave him a phone, and I was on the phone to him for the last half hour of his shift, and he was happy to talk to me the entire time. I don't know how happy his line managers were or whatever, but yeah, and he said, that if I need to talk about anything, just to give him a phone. And then about 7 a.m, I decided I would try and sleep, and I was lying in bed, just alone with my own thoughts, and I could smell. I had the scent that what she had, that was definitely her, and it was just a sign that she was, still with me. It's like a one-way reflective mirror, that she can see me and she's around, and can see and do everything that I'm doing and saying and such, and she'll be helping me on, and it's just that we can't see them. One of the things, I had been scared of losing my parents since I was coherent, I suppose, since I was, able to, stand upright and think. When I was much younger, when I was in high school, I had a virus or disease that the doctors didn't know what it was, and it lasted for almost a year. And it it was horrible. Like you would just start choking and gasping for air, randomly, and then you'd be throwing up and everything. And uh, we never knew what that was, and it was hideous because it would happen like while I was asleep, and you don't know what it's like to wake up and not being able to breathe, and then like gasping for air and things, and oh, it was horrible. It got to the point where the school stopped sending homework to me because they thought that that they were, well, they probably thought they were just making this child that isn't going to survive suffer with having additional homework. But back then, I came to terms with the possibility of losing my own life, and that that it could happen, and from that point I wasn't really scared of my own death, but I was absolutely terrified of losing my mum and my dad. And I remember I used to have dreams that I wanted the apocalypse to happen so that we could all just go at the same time. My faith in the afterlife is that strong. That I genuinely believe that everything that we're doing here, everything that we're doing right now is fake. This is just a computer game. When we leave this life, it's the equivalent of a chicken coming out of a shell. Like the chicken doesn't care about the shell that it left. It's just a shell. It's nothing any longer. The soul is um, incomprehensible. It's this is the equivalent of like a really realistic VR game. That's the way that I see this, and we're here to gain experience. That's what we're here for, and in this really physical realm, you can get a lot of experience because you can feel a lot of pain and a lot of not just physical pain but mental pain and mental anguish, and your heart can be broken, and your spirit can be smashed, but as humans we can pick ourselves back up and move on, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. There was a thing that I said years ago, that sometimes something will come along in your life, and it'll be like a train, and it will smash you to pieces, and then you'll try and struggle to try and put all the pieces back, to where they were, and you don't need to, like you take all the broken parts and you create a new you, and some of the shards, like won't fit, and some of them you can just leave behind. You don't need to, be exactly the person you were beforehand, and some things will be missing, but you'll be able to create new parts. Like you'll mend. That's what we do as humans. And that we're there for one another and such. And a large part of creating this channel was inspiration from my mum. A large part of everything I think that everyone does is try and make their parents proud, I think. And I told her, that with this body that she gave me, I was able to conquer the world. I was able to become a world champion. I was able to win European Championship at countless nationals and things, and I've got all of you wonderful followers that, that's part of the Grand Cab family. And I remember when I was in primary school, I didn't have any friends, and I was getting bullied and things. Mom was so worried about me that she would come up to the school and stand at the fence, at breaks and at lunchtime and things, and call me over, or get some of the other kids to call me over and let me know that Mom was here, and Well, we didn't know at the time. I've never said this publicly before, but I'm you know, the it's not that I'm ashamed of or anything, but I didn't want to like used against me or anything. But I don't see. I think it's stronger to just say rather than to keep it hidden. But I'm autistic, and I've got a thing that's called Asperger's, which doesn't mean I'm any less intelligent. It just means that the way that I see the world, the way that I view the world, is different than the way that other people do. I'll be I'll react differently to different things, than what a normal person would sometimes, but it doesn't mean that it isn't still me. I'm still as a grand cat. um she also thought that I was a superstar. She thought that having 1,000 subscribers was tremendous, amazing. It was like so many people follow you. You're loved by so many people. And I'm really happy and really thankful that you guys do enjoy these little videos. Which is what I was going to talk about at the beginning and then completely forgot. So this here is the YouTube studio, which I don't normally show to people, and this here shows the order of the videos as they were put up. So you guys have just seen the round 1 Gravidia and round 2 and round 3 have all went up. Later on today at 7 p.m, it's going to be round 4, Bastion versus Gandiva. And the reason why these were recorded this way was because Big Bossman was the one that was doing the filming for these. And at the time that these were getting filmed, I was down at my mum's house and spending time with her. And it wasn't like, I was spending time with her and she was bedridden or anything. She was completely happy and fine, she was, we were watching films, we were, like making dinner and things together, and I was, my 2 cats, Hamish and Poppy, they're my mum's cats, and her husband John is going to look after those cats now. Her husband and her lived in the same house, obviously, so to move the cats would be very upsetting for them and things, and I'm sure that he'll look after them. It was one of Mum's last dying wishes was to make sure that the cats are all right, Poppy and Hamish. I've lost my train of thought. I can't remember what I was talking about. Right, well, these videos, so I was with my mum while these videos were being recorded. So you're going to see a lot more of these videos going up. You can see here that sometimes, I'll record a video and then I'll just put it up. Like this is Damien Priest. I know you guys love the W Supercard videos because I can see it in the views. I mean, you can see there that, the card fight video got 16 views, and then for the W Supercards it's like 327, 248 and 734 views. The title belt thing, those are really cool videos if you haven't checked those out. It's my collection of title belts. But so basically I recorded a whole bunch of videos, and then this is the way that they go up, so you can see there that there's still a whole bunch of them, a whole load from when I was recorded in KC or whatever. And you see any of the ones that say views on them, those are the ones that have all went up. You can see that they were 10 days ago, and there's ones that have still to go up. It was while I was in the middle of recording this one here, the Amy one, that my mum phoned me for the first time to let me know that she was in hospital. And she said, like, the first thing she said was, like, don't worry, there's nothing to worry about and things. And she was telling me about how she was doing and how everything was, and what medication she was on, what the doctors were saying and things. So and then we've continued to record a whole bunch of unboxing videos. There is like 4 days ago was the next one that I recorded, essentially live and put up on the day, was the Welcome to the Grand Cat video. And at this point, I still thought that, that Mom was just going to come back out of hospital and things were going to be fine again. And then I did the tutorial for how to beat Clash of Champions. That got a lot of views, 1.6 thousand. And there's a whole bunch of other ones, from the shop, the card games. And then this one here, you can see the thumbnail. That's me and my mom. It says, thinking and talk about my mom out loud. That's a private video. Only very specific people get to see that one. This is the public one. And then the first video that I did after she passed away was, well, this was the first one I did after she passed away, but the Jay and Jimmy Uso Clash of Champions one was the first video that I recorded for WSuperCard after she passed away. But like I said, none of this channel or anything would have happened without her. In fact, see all the Sonic unboxings, all these things. It was my mum that got me my first computer, which was the Mega Drive, or the Genesis for those of you that are outside of the UK or Europe. The Mega Drive and the Genesis was the same console, and it came with Sonic the Hedgehog 1, and she told me much later, that how hard she had to struggle and save so that she could buy that, so that she could get me a console. And that really meant a lot. And then we got Sonic the Hedgehog 2 after that. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 we had to keep renting from Blockbuster Video, and Sonic and Knuckles I was given as a birthday present. My whole birthday present was the Sonic and Knuckles game, because I really loved the Sonic games. And my entire Sonic collection, which is now massive, was all started from her. In fact, Pokemon was started from her as well, because there was a time that I was obviously still in school, and all the other kids had Pokemon, like the Pokemon game. There wasn't anything else at the time. They all had like red and blue, and I didn't even have a Game Boy Color. And for my birthday, we went into a place called it wasn't called G-Force, but it was G. No, it was G-Force. Yeah, it was in the Greenock. It was in the Greenock Mall, and it was this little shop, and she asked me what I want and everything, and she pointed at the Pokemon thing, and I said that I don't have the console to play it on, and she got me she got me the purple Game Boy Color console, and Pokemon Yellow for the Game Boy Color as well. And I did a video on that actually. So this is on YouTube Studio, and I'm able to just search, just my videos, and there it is. See, this 8 months ago, does my 24-year-old Pokemon Yellow game still work? And it does, and that's the very one that she got for me, and that's what started Pokemon for me as well. One of the things that she wanted to do was, when I've been to Japan, I think it's 4 times, maybe it's 5, all of which compete in world championships, and she wanted to come with me, and I was like, no, I like I need to be able to concentrate, and all that kind of stuff, on on my games, for the World Championship, and but me and my friends are planning to go to Japan later on. Hopefully January is the idea that we're setting for, and we want to go there. Is a trip. Really like a once in a lifetime trip. With all my best friends. And we'd been planning this, long before I knew there was anything wrong with Mum. But when she was in the hospital bed, the last time I saw her, I said, that she was asking me about what the afterlife was like, and I said, you'll be able to move instantaneously with a thought. You won't have the physical restrictions that we have currently, and I said, like you'll be able to go anywhere with me, like when I'm going to Japan. And she got excited and she started pointing to herself, and I said, yes, you'll be able to come with me. so we absolutely need to make sure that happens. That's something that's important to me. Yeah. I haven't uploaded the videos yet, but the day before she passed away, I was playing in the KC Championship, the KC Championship 2023, and the KC Championship is something that we've done every single year since I first opened the shop back in 2011. And we've got a Hall of Fame for all of the players that have won KC Championships, and I'll on occasion enter these KC Championships, but I don't really have an intention to win. But I just want to go in there and be, be a powerful obstacle to overcome. I never really intend to win my own championships, but I built a brand new One Piece deck that's called Big Mom, and if you know who Big Mom is from One Piece, then you'll know. And the thing is, this deck, it starts with 4 life instead of 5 because it uses 2 different colours. It uses yellow and black, and it had never won any tournament before. Not anywhere in Japan, not anywhere in the English side of the world, and I thought I would give it a try. I thought it would be something that realistically wouldn't win, but it would be enough to to be really strong, and I went undefeated with it throughout the entire tournament. Even in the finals, no one was really touching me, and I was thinking about my mum while I was playing that deck as well, because I knew that she was in hospital and things, but at the time I didn't know that it was going to be anything like it was. I want to talk about more about how much of a fighter my mum was. When she was taken off the auction, the doctors had said that with how quickly her oxygen levels drop, they expect that she would go quite quickly. And they said sometimes it can be, sometimes it can be minutes, sometimes it can be seconds, sometimes it can be, as long as an hour. And like they don't know, every person's different. And when they took her off the oxygen, they had to keep giving her really strong medication, because she was so used to strong medication by that point, because she'd been on it for years, from her slip disc and the pleurisy, the heart problems, the cancer and everything. She was in a lot of pain for a long time, and she also had a thalassemia trait, the same as I do, which means you've got like low iron levels. You've got an iron deficiency, which means that you don't have an awful lot of energy. And even with all that, she loved to make sure that the house was clean, that she looked beautiful, that the house was all beautiful and things, and that the cats were all cared for, and that whenever I was there, that I was all cared for and everything. That was the way that she was. One of the things that she loved was I've got long hair, as you've probably seen. I don't do many face reveals, but they do exist. And one of the things she loved was fixing my hair using all these products and things, and she I've never been really good with any of that kind of stuff, but she knew what she was doing, and she could always make it look wonderful and lovely. So that was one of the things that she enjoyed doing. But where was I going with this? Right. So when she was taken off of the auction, they thought it would be between minutes or an hour, and it was 2.5 hours before she went. One of the things that she wrote was, so she was a nurse herself, and she wrote that she doesn't want to panic, and the head nurse, Anne Marie, she said, "Don't worry, we'll make sure that you won't panic. If you start panicking, we can, turn the auction back up. We can, do this kind of thing." And I asked the nurse, Anne Marie, about, what does panicking look like? Like, I don't know. He says sometimes when they're taken off of auction, they'll start to make a lot of noise. They'll scream. Their eyes will be open, and they'll start trying to, grasp and grab for things, and none of that happened. I'm fairly sure that our mum's spirit, that she was free, she was released. About maybe 10 minutes before her body went, because she was in and out of consciousness as she was passing, and that's what's supposed to happen. That's what they wanted. They wanted her to be heavily medicated so that she would be largely unconscious. But the last thing that she wrote was just the word "prepared," and that was her saying that she was prepared, and she wanted me specifically on her right hand side, holding her hand, and she wanted her husband John on her left hand side, and that's how it was. I'm getting emotional now, and I'm not going to try and hide it. This is what I wanted to happen. I wanted to be able to acknowledge it, because I was having difficulty, not being able to. And this is something that you need to go through when you're going through grief. But I wanted to share this with all of you, and I wanted all of you to know about my mum, and how good and how great she was, and how she is, purely responsible for this entire channel. Not only the channel, but the shop itself. There was a point a long time ago, in the first year, or possibly the second year of me having Curtain Cosplay, and we were losing a lot of money, and there was a lot of bills coming in, and we couldn't afford them, couldn't pay for them, and my mum gave me £1,000 to help with that, and if that hadn't have happened, I might have closed down the shop. And she said that if you become rich and famous at some point, later on in life, you can pay me back then. But other than that, like, I don't want the money. I want you to continue doing what you're doing, and that, and the thing is, I got some money later on, but at that point, she was getting she said that she had plenty of money and not to worry about it, not to any of this. But you start thinking about stupid little things. One of the things that she enjoyed doing was when she couldn't sleep and she was awake, she would just shop online on Amazon things, and if she saw something that I thought I would like, she would just buy it and have it sent to my house and not tell me, and it would just appear randomly. It would just show up, and I would know that it was definitely from her because like no one else would. She would get me like iron supplements or a new hair cream or a face mask or something. These sort of things, and I've never really been good at looking after my own looks or things. And some people are, but no, not so much me. Not the way that she was or that she did, and I remember. So a strange thing is, me and my mum were the same age. I'm the same age as what she was when she lost her mum, when she lost my granny. And I remember, that she was absolutely devastated by that. She was completely heartbroken, and I was young as well, and whenever I heard her crying or weeping or anything, I would stop what I was doing, stop playing my computer games and things, and I would run in, and I remember the time that she had friends over, and she was laughing, and I ran into the living room, and my mum started laughing because she thought that she knew that I thought that she was crying, and actually it was her laughing, um, and uh, I told her that she'd be reunited with all of her cats that she had over all the years. We had a lot of cats. Ted, Trudy, Tasha, Trixie. And then we had Trudy the second, Tasha the second, Tina, and Boots. There was also Toots, but Toots was an outdoor. She was a feral cat, and she went around with Boots. And we're not sure what Boots and Toots' relationship was. Originally, we thought that Boots was maybe the father of Toots because Toots was a smaller cat, but and Boots was scruffier. But later we thought that Boots might actually have been the son of Toots. And then we ended up making Boots, like from a feral cat to, an indoor cat, and he was much happier. Toots could hunt and fend for herself, but Boots wasn't particularly fantastic at it. We thought that Boots may have had a little bit of a learning difficulty. We never knew what happened to Toots. We just assumed that she had succumbed to something and she'd passed away, and Boots kept coming to the door, but Toots was nowhere to be seen. But I'm sure that she'll be reunited with all those cats, and she'll be reunited with her parents, my grandparents as well. And one of the things that she wrote about was her dog Lassie that she had when she was a little girl. So she kept Lassie in her memories, right through to the end, and that was when she was a very young little girl. Um, so yeah, it was also my mum got me my first PlayStation as well, and I remember there was a Christmas that she got me the game Duke Nukem. I think it was Duke Nukem Time to Kill, and we'd so that I wasn't in my room the entire day. She would put the PlayStation into the TV in the kitchen, and I was playing it there. And one of one of Duke Nukem's lines was, like, "What are you waiting for? Christmas?" And she was like, "Oh, he said that it's like Christmas, like on Christmas Day, And she thought that was fantastic. She was like, "Oh, that's amazing. That's wonderful." Um, yeah. Um, I'm just going over memories. She used to play computer games as well. She used to. She told me that there was arcades and things, and she used to be really good at Pac Man and Tetris. I think it was Pac Man was her main thing, but there was a time that she was interested in what I was doing, and I was playing Puzzle Fighter, Street Fighter Puzzle Fighter, and uh, she asked how it worked, and I showed her, and I was playing um, things like that, and she was better at Puzzle Fighter than what I was. She was like really really good at it. Um, like she could beat Akuma, who was like the strongest character in the game, and that was fantastic. Um, like there was points where I was like asking her for help and things, and she was able to do that. Um, I'm thinking this video is going on a bit long, so um, but yeah, my mum is a wonderful woman. She's still with me, I'm sure. I'm in a lot of heartache and a lot of upset right now, as you've probably been able to tell a couple of times during the video. But I'm trying to, I'm not trying to force myself, to come back any faster than what I should. But I don't want to go leaving the Discord, that I worked so hard to put together with all you guys that all have, a lot of love for me, and I don't want to, go losing the YouTube channel or anything. Every single time, like there's never been a time when subscribers have dropped. Subscribers have always been, increasing, slowly, each time, it's like, and that really means a lot to me. Even though we don't have like, loads of subscribers. I mean, we've got like 4.3 is what we're at currently. 4.3 thousand. And each one of you means a lot to me, and for and the thing is, like, I mentioned earlier that I was autistic with Asperger's. We didn't know that until only a couple of years ago, and it was picked up on, and I was tested for it, and they were like, yeah, you absolutely have Asperger's. I think everyone's autistic to some degree. It's a spectrum. Everyone has things that they struggle with, or they have problems with, or they have problems understanding in some way or another. And I had problems, learning how to make friends, and now I've got so many. I've got loads of them, and that's really, that's something that's a real accomplishment, and I really appreciate it. And my mum loves how much she didn't watch my videos often, but one of the ones that she loved was cooking with the Grand Cat. She had a very unique sense of what she thought was hilarious. She would love it when I would do, like voices. Like Donald Trump and Boris Johnson. And she would be killing herself laughing at that. I can't think of anything to say, but for the Donald Trump voice, you put it like this, and you say, "Hey, we're gonna do some Sonic videos. They're gonna be awesome. They're gonna be awesome. They're gonna be really cool. They're gonna get 1 billion views." And that's how you do the Donald Trump voice. And for the Boris Johnson, who was the British Prime Minister, he was like, yes, well, you see, when we do these Sonic videos, what do you have to consider? What you have to take into consideration is that Sonic the Hedgehog is, in fact, actually blue, and he wears red shoes, and that doesn't make sense. Why does blue and red go together? But they do. And, then you have Knuckles, who's the echidna, who is one of Sonic's best friends, and he is red, but he doesn't have blue shoes, and, I'm just using whatever was around me as inspiration, and that was looking at my Sonic figures. But she used to love that, and she said that I had the sleeping mentality of a horse. That was very, very difficult to put out and things. There was a time she told me that she saw my brother going into surgery when he was a young boy, and he was sedated and unconscious, and she burst into tears. She couldn't handle seeing him unconscious, and I always remembered that, and I made sure that it was real difficult to get me to be unconscious. There was a point that I went in for surgery, and they did the full station, and I was like still 100% completely awake, and the doctors were laughing about it, and then they did a second one, and I said that I blinked, and I was like staring up at the lights as I was being wheeled out on a gurney out of the surgery, and I immediately said, did they finish? And the nurses that were moving me were like, "Oh yeah, no, you're you're good." And I was like, "All right." When they did the surgery, did they remember to take the tissue from the back of the throat so they could find out what was going on? And they were like, "You are surprisingly coherent for having literally just came out of surgery and just coming out of sedation." But yes, they did. They did all of that. And I was like, "Okay, I think I can get up. I think I could walk." And they were like, "No, legally we have to take you on the gurney, back to your room." And I was like, all right, okay. Is it all right if I go back to sleep?" And they were like, "Yes, that's generally what you should be doing." I was like, okay. And I closed my eyes, and the thing is, like, I was from that point, I was actually awake, but I always thought that was crazy that that I could just, from the second of being awake after coming out of surgery, that there wasn't any kind of haziness or whatever. I was just completely functional, immediately, and well aware of what was going on, what was happening, and such. And yeah, I mean, that's just testament to the body that my mother gave me. That that I could do crazy things like that. Halfway through this video, I thought about whether to make this public or whether to make it private, because I'd went into a lot of private details, but I'm going to keep it as public because I want everyone to be able to know what my mum was like. That she was a wonderful person, that she was, is so good at everything that she did, and she was responsible for everything that I do, every all of the positive aspects, at least. But I'm still upset, and this is my chance. This is me trying to go back to normality, creating videos and uploading them for you guys. And I'm going to continue trying. The next thing that I have to do is get the Jiusu reward, and we're going to level him up to level 100 and see what his stats are like, because that's one of the things that you guys enjoy, and I enjoy it too. I enjoy the little WWE sort of card game. I wouldn't continue doing it if I didn't enjoy it. I don't know whether I'm going to be in Curtain cosplay to record videos this week or not. But Baron has said that he can take care of things. He can do everything from his side. Bossman and Fat Boy and King Messiah and Jai are all looking after Discord at the moment. So that's all fine. But the day that happened, I was largely inconsolable. I was largely numb. Then I was inconsolable, and I felt sick. I felt hot. I didn't really have much of an appetite. In fact, last night I got in. My mum was vegetarian, and I got a paneer korma, and paneer is like this kind of cheese kind of thing, and I got that with naan bread, and that's one of my favourite foods, and I was only really picking at it last night. My dad came and picked me up, and we watched a quiz, like my dad normally do. We watched it in Impossible, and we had a cup of tea, and I was kind of picking away at the paneer with the naan bread, and I was trying to kind of force myself, yesterday, this is now the Tuesday morning, so it was 2 days ago, but 2 days ago, it feels like yesterday, when my mum passed away. Baron, he'd ordered in Chinese, and I got a king prawn chow mein and chicken and sweet corn soup, because I knew that those were things that I enjoyed, and I basically forced myself to eat those, so that I wasn't going to be like low in energy, or any of these kind of things, or anything like that. But it's very difficult. My mum has obviously been there for me since the day that I was born, and it's difficult to look at Facebook Messenger and see the the last couple of messages that she was sending to me, and looking through my photographs, and the last couple of photographs that we got together and such. This video here, I'll show you it once again. That was the last photograph that I had with my mum. Every time, I was down. She stays in Gourock and I stay in Glasgow, so it's a little bit of a distance away. And every time I was down there, whenever I'd leave, I would make sure to get a photograph with her as well. Not because I expected anything to happen. I just thought it was a nice thing to always get a photograph with her. But she was beautiful. She was absolutely lovely, and anyone that met her thought that she was such a lovely, kind woman. She helped so many people. She after being a nurse, she went into she was a manager of a place where there was people with inclusive living, generally older people, but sometimes people with mental disabilities and things, and she helped a lot of those people as well, and she was there for a lot of people when they passed away as well. And I remember my dad took me to the hospital and took me back. He waited for me the entire time as well. And he said, talking about some other family members, that he was grateful that that he got to say goodbye to them, and they weren't just they didn't just walk out and were hit by a car, or something like that, something that was sudden. That he got to talk to them beforehand, and I'd mentioned it to my mum. I said that that it was better than being hit by a car or whatever, and she wrote that would have been easier. I don't know if she meant that it would have been easier for her rather than having to struggle and fight through those last couple of days, or if she meant that it would have been easier for me and her husband to suddenly go, rather than to be to be there with that situation. And she thought about people so much more than herself. She always put people ahead of herself. I think she was talking about me and her husband. So yeah. I'm going through various different things. Sometimes I want to talk about her, I want to talk all about her, and I want to, everyone to know about her, and I want to hear what other people have to, say, and, this kind of thing. And then there's other points that I want to, try and distract myself, try and, not think about it for a little while. And it keeps kind of switching between the two. So, like the day it happened, I think I've said it before, I was largely numb and following that was inconsolable, and I didn't sleep the night that it happened either. In fact, if it wasn't for Baron, I wouldn't have got any sleep at all. Baron was playing Yakuza 6, and I was laying on the couch, and he was fighting against Joamon in Yakuza 6, which is the big secret final end boss. It just the repetitive actions, over and over again, was enough to turn off my brain to allow me to get some sleep. And I slept for a few hours from there, and that gave me enough energy to think a bit clearer and to be a bit more coherent. And then we ordered dinner, and my dad came and picked me up, and then we went back to the house and we watched Quiz, and I picked up the paneer and everything, and it's still in the fridge downstairs for me. And it was all these things, but then I was able to fall asleep last night, and then woke up, and on waking up, the first thing that went through my head was that I'd lost my mum, and I was thinking about her, and I was thinking about all the little things that she'd bought me, things that I wasn't really sure how to use, little like hair masks, or what, I didn't know like what their purpose was or what they were for, but like whenever I had a problem, like if I had an itchy scalp, my hair, she would find something that would work for that. And she wanted my flat all nice and pretty and everything as well, for that. And she came over, and she stayed in my flat a few times. She really enjoyed the area that my little flat was in, and like even like getting my own little flat was something that was something that she thought was really great, um, but yeah, it's tough. I've been looking up Google for things that's like, how to deal with grief, how to deal with the loss of a parent and things, and one of the things that made me start tearing up was one of the things said that it's difficult to deal with the loss of an unconditional love, and I hadn't even really thought about that. It hadn't really occurred to me, that I'd lost that. But thinking about it now, I think that's incorrect, because she does still have that love for me, and I still have that love for her. And like I said, my faith has not been moved. I'm certain. I mean, everyone all has their own different ideas of faith and the afterlife and things, and I am 100% sure that there is an afterlife and that she is still here with me. I even think that what we have here, like what I am right now, isn't all of me. I think this is a mere fraction. I believe we have what's called a higher self, which is your true form, and basically, like, what is, like, if you imagine, if you're sitting in a chair and you put on a VR headset, and then you create that character, and you've been playing this character for however many years you've been around, walking this earth, then that starts to feel really real to you. But once it's over and you take off the headset, you think, wow, all of that felt so real, but but it wasn't, it was it was just a game. It was just to gain experience, and you wake up and then you see all the other people are still playing it. They're all still there, and you can go and you can watch and you can try and help. You can do these little things, but like just to let them know that you're still there. But I mean, the thing is, like, the real you isn't even here. These are literally shells. That's literally what they are, and I 100% believe that. And I was really worried that when I was going to the hospital, I was really worried that my faith would be shaken, and that I would stop believing, or I'd question whether there was an afterlife, or I'd any of these things. And one of the things that would talk about with me quite a few times is that it must be so difficult when someone believes, someone that's an atheist and thinks that there is no afterlife. It must be so difficult for them, because then they're literally saying goodbye, and they know that they're never going to see that person again. And like, death must be so scary to those people, because they think that there isn't anything after. And I don't see how there could be. I mean, I don't see how there could be nothing after this. I don't see how there's any way that there's no way that your soul continues to live on, and I genuinely believe that we will be reunited, once this is all over. It's just while we're here, that it's so hard and difficult to deal with, and that's where we are. Well, I was raised, I was brought up Catholic, Christian, but in later years, I've become closer to Buddhism, more than anything else. I don't really go to any churches or any kind of places of prayer or things. I just live life as the way that I think life should be lived, and I believe that everything has a right to life, and it's our job as a higher intellect species to look after the lesser intellect species. So whenever there's a fly in Cairn cosplay, I'll try and, get it out the door. I'll try and, move it somewhere that, that it would have a food source, or, whatever. I don't kill insects or anything. If I find a spider, in the bathroom or whatever, if I think it's happy, I'll just leave it there. But if it's like stuck in a bath or whatever, then I'll move them out to a garden or somewhere else where they're they're happy and safer, and can live their life. So I suppose I should run this video up. It's an hour and 10 minutes at this point. I'm not sure how many people are going to watch this. It's probably going to get like 3 views. But this video, I think, was more for me to talk about. But I would like to share it with all of you guys as well. And I'll just end the video by saying, if you've still got your mum, make sure to let her know that you love her. Thankfully, my mum was always aware of that. I always ended every phone call. She would say, "I love you," and I'd say, "I love you too." And she was aware, and I got to be with her. Like right through the end. Not letting go of her hand until she was completely passed away, and that really means a lot. And just be nice to each other. You don't get anything from hurting or harming anything. If you see someone, if you see an animal in need, whether it's an insect or what it is, just try and be nice to it, try and help it in some way if you can. If you see you've got a friend in need, or a family member or whatever, just try to be there for them, and just let them know that you're available, and we just try and help each other when you're in need, I guess, is the important thing. But yeah, always let your friends and family know that they're loved. Love has many different forms. Love doesn't mean that you're looking for a sexual relationship with them. You can let your friends know that you love them. As a brother, or as a family. In Japan, there's a word called nakama, which means, it literally translates to family but not related by blood. And I've got a few of those, and I want them to all know that they're loved. A lot of them go to Cairn cosplay. Not all of them, Ko that I mentioned as well. And there's some that I haven't even met, that have only been online, that have been on Discord, that mean a lot to me as well. That have helped run my little Discord channel and things. That means a lot as well. If this channel starts becoming like much bigger, I wouldn't mind getting someone that can help edit these videos and put these together and things, so that it's not just me rambling into a camera. You can also see that the one that says thinking and talking out loud about my mum is not monetized. I didn't want the ads from that. But she was always so impressed and so proud that I was, able to make any of this YouTube thing work. Where YouTube would start give me a little bit of income. I mean, it's not much, but it's growing, hopefully, and it's not about the money. It's never really been about money. It's having all these subscribers and having all these views and everything. It really, really does mean a lot. But yeah. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. It's 8:24 a.m. I've been recording since about 7ish, I guess, since about 7:10. Judging by the numbers. But I wanted to let you all know what was going on, and if you want, you can leave your comments, your thoughts and comments and things in the comment section. I do tend to read all of them. I've always said that I try and reply to everyone, which I always have, but since my mum passed away, I've just been clicking the heart notification on any comments that I've seen without replying to them. But I always thought it was really important if you're, if you're lucky enough to be in a position where I am, where you do have a lot of followers, that you really should, try and make the effort to try and, communicate and, be able to talk to your viewers, and be able to thank them, for being there. And yeah, it really does. It really means an awful lot, like more than you guys could ever know. But yeah, and I keep going through fluctuations. Sometimes I'll be really, really upset, and other times I'll start feeling a little bit more normal again. At the moment, I'm currently feeling normal again in a few points during this video. I became very upset, but I continued on with it. But I'm going to try and get back to, the old, hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat, and today we're going to, and so on and so forth. But I'm not going to try and push myself into it too quickly. But the next couple of videos, you might see that, I'm more sad that I don't have the energy that I normally do. Even in Curtain cosplay, I mean, I'm not even sure if I'm going in this week or not. I mean, I haven't even thought that far ahead. But if I do go in, I might not have the energy that I normally do. But I also don't really want to just sit around and not really do anything, because I think that is a path to madness. I think you really have to allow people to help you and to come over and talk to you and this sort of thing. I think that's good, and I think that's important. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. No one really knows what's going to happen in the future. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I mean, I don't know if tomorrow I'm going to be worse. If tomorrow I'm going to be much better than I am just now. I don't know, but whatever comes, we'll just go through it together. And yeah, I've kind of rambled on quite a lot in this video, but yeah, I think I'm going to upload it. But that is going to be it for this little video, folks. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification icon so you can see when more of these little videos go up. And we shall see you all in the next video. And just remember that someone always loves you out there. And it's important to know that, even if you don't say it, you know. But you should try and let the ones that you love know that you love them, even though it's difficult to say it sometimes. But that's it for this video, folks. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.